Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and today we are going to be recreating this die. I'll insert the picture here from In Love Arts, and we're doing this with our Cricut in Design Space, and we're just using basic shapes here. So it looks like I've created this file 4 different ways, and that's kind of because I have. The first one, everything is just cut separately. Let me detach it, or ungroup it, I should say. So the backing is one piece, but then the front, all those little squares are separate, or rectangles, squares, rectangles, whatever. I want to make sure I get them all. Regroup them. This one is a little bit different. Ungroup that and pull these away, and you can see that what I have done here is I have created an outline that will be embossed or scored, even if you want to call it that. Oh, didn't mean to do that. And it will help you place those pieces if that, if that's something you feel like you need. This one, did I regroup that? No, I didn't. One more time. No, still isn't. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, so this one over here, what I've done is, because the original picture that they show, which is from In Love Arts, that's the picture they're showing on their website. Hopefully it's okay for me to use that, because I will link that below as well. They show stitching around. Let me zoom in here. So I have used my score tool to create these stitch lines, but you could also use well, I say you could use a pen, but you would have to create each one of those little lines separately. So that's a little, yeah, that'd be a lot of work. You could do it, but it'd be a lot of work. And so then this last one, let me zoom back out. My laptop's giving me issues here. So this last one, what I've done is I have cut out the blue. I don't know why I even left that in there, to be honest. I have cut out this blue. I'm going to make that invisible, and it just created this frame. So you could just cut out the frame and then use these squares in different cards. Say you cut out 2 frames in different colors, and then mix and match the squares, or just keep these for sentiments or whatever. And those just fit right over the top there. So I'm going to take a minute and cut a couple of options of this out, and then we'll come back and kind of play with them and see what they look like. Now, I've just used, you could use any kind of paper for your squares. You can either use something you've stamped, or something that's digital you've printed, or maybe you've got a supply of designer cardstocks or papers. You can use any of that, whatever you like. That is totally up to you. But this is I've got a couple different things here on my desk, so I'm just going to kind of wing it and see what we come up with. Alright, I cut out 3 of the 4, which if you're going left to right would be designs 2, 3, and 4. I didn't want to mess with trying to position them myself. I don't know how many of me there are, but anyway, and try to be accurate. Now, I could have made a spacer, I could have made a template, but I just didn't cut the first one. It's I feel like these are easier. So I've got 3 of them here. We'll start with, let's see, this was the last one I did. So I've laid out everything. I took a piece of, let me zoom in. I took a piece of digital paper that I had created for a class that I took with Ruth, with Artful Stampin' with Ruth. I'll link her channel below if you like stamping. I don't do a lot of stamping. I'm not very good at it. I like digitals because I can I can get them just the way I want them, and I can resize them. I can even recolor them if I need to a little bit. So for me, digitals is the way to go. But she's well, I don't want to say strictly a stamper. She does a lot of stamping. She's a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, but she also makes other projects that are not cards or scrapbook pages. She's been doing junk journals and other things, but she makes these beautiful one-sheet wonders. So if you haven't checked her out, you should, because I learned a lot from her, and I don't do stamping. I've tried it. It's just not my thing. So that's what this top piece was. The bottom piece is actually a piece of, I'm going to take these off of here. It's actually a piece of Stampin' Up! Cardstock. And it came in the pack with the beautiful bluebirds on it. So this is the one that I used to create the score lines. And I don't think you can even see them. I can barely see them. Yeah. Oh, wait. You kind of get a hint of that one right there. So I had noticed a while back that my wavy blade wasn't cutting through the paper. And I'm wondering if I've got, maybe need to reformat something, or because you can barely see that. I think I'll be able to see it well enough to get my pieces on there, but as far as the decorative element, it doesn't really stand out. So we'll lay this one off to the side. I'd really hoped that that would look like faux stitching around there, but it just didn't work out. So that's okay. We'll make it work. So here's the purple one. So I've got my scraps of purple here in the background, and I just used all of my scraps. I didn't use a full sheet of paper on any of this. This is all from my scrap bin. Here's the scraps cut out, the leftover scraps from cutting out the frame. This one was a light lavender, I guess, scrap, and I ran it through my printer with a mandala on the background. Now you could stamp it, you could ink it, you could do whatever you want to it. You could just use a decorative paper, but I had plain paper, and so that's what I used. And I had this mandala. It's one of my digital images that I've purchased from Creative Fabrica, and I then took it, it's a bold black one, and I took it and faded it out with using the transparency tool in my software so that it's barely visible, just kind of a shadow effect. I thought about running it through my laser printer and foiling it, but I didn't want to take the time to do that. But that would be beautiful if that were foiled. If I'd printed it on solid black and then foiled it, it would be gorgeous. This isn't the best paper for that. This is just cheap Michael's Recollections cardstock. So foiling is, if you're really picky, this isn't the best cardstock for that, but it works fine to print on. All right, so let me move all of this out of the way. I'm trying not to move my pieces because I don't want to have to figure out where they go again. So these were all, like I said, all out of my scrap bin, and these will go back in scrap bin. I've got some big envelopes for the bigger pieces, and then I've got some small boxes that I actually bought from Stampin' Up! They're little treat boxes, and I made belly bands to go around them, and I just put my tiny scraps in there because you can cut butterflies out of these, or buttons if you're making, you need a clasp, or, well, here, let me just show you. If you need a clasp like that you're going to tie around, you could emboss them. You could do all kinds of things with those. So I will hang on to those. So then here's the yellow one. And again, I've just taken scraps from my scrap stash. And this one, I did not attach these the way I did with this one. And the reason for that is this pattern, I really think it can go either way. It's a small print. I think it's not going to matter which way it's going, so I didn't care. So there's that one. So we're just going to kind of put a couple of these together. I'm going to start with this yellow one. And this is the one that's embossed. And the embossing, or scoring, whatever you want to call it, actually showed up better than the what do you call it? This, they don't call it stitching, but the perforated one. So I don't know how well you can see it, but in my to my eyes, it shows up a lot better. So I'm just going to glue some of these down here, hopefully real quick. You know what? I'll pause the video and then I'll glue them and fast forward. Alright, so these are the 3 completed cards, and they each method has its pros and cons. This one, like I said, the stitching didn't really show up. So then I didn't get them aligned properly because I really couldn't see the stitching. So I just tried to keep the edges aligned, and I still managed to get that one messed up. So I will probably like put some kind of sentiment over that so that it's not so obvious, because it's definitely not straight. So the faux stitching to me didn't work. Maybe it just depends on the paper, but you really can't see it. And that was using the, what was it, the perforated tool with Cricut. You could still go around it with a pen or a marker and write in your hand stitching, which is what it looks like they did on the In Love Hearts or In Love Arts die card that they made, was that they just drew around it. So that's an option. This one is probably the easiest in the sense that as long as if you've got a design on your inserts here, that you keep that in mind when you're putting them in. But the downside to this one is there's just a little bit of white space, and I don't even think you can hardly see it. I think that's called the kerf, like when you're woodworking, that piece, that edge that disappears. So there's just the tiniest little edge around those. I did ink these, which I think looks nice and would have looked nice on any of them. And then we have this one where I used the embossing tool, or what is it, the other thing, the scoring tool. It's kind of the same thing. So it works the same way anyway. And honestly, I think this was the easiest. Now, the beauty of this one is it does save you cardstock. On the other hand, it also makes you a lot more scraps. By cutting it out of this background, it makes a lot more scraps. The other thing you could do, whether you use this cutout background or not, is you could always put some dimensionals behind this, dimensional foam, tape, stickers, whatever, to help bump them up a little bit, and that would add an interesting effect too. I think this one would have been beautiful if I had run it through the laser printer and foiled it. I think that would have made it a knockout. Right now it needs a sentiment, and the sentiment's going to have to be a knockout because the card itself is pretty plain. I would say that is actually true of all of these, maybe this one the least, but it's crooked, so it's going to need something special. But this one was the easiest. So it's a solid background piece that is then embossed or scored, however you want to look at it. And it just makes it easier for your placement of these cut pieces. Now, I didn't think to ink these. I think these would have been really nice in like a vintage photo from Tim Holtz, or some kind of dark color, even a green, maybe a really dark green. But I think I'd stick with the vintage photo. I think that would look really nice around there and really add some unique character to that. So really at this point, you can make the card open like that, or side to side, or I think we've got one here that's no, that's the same. Maybe Okay, so there's this one. So it can open this way, or you can do it so either portrait or landscape on any of these. But this one's going to need something, and I think it's going to have to be foiled, whatever I put on the front. And maybe I'll print out the mandala with the Cricut. I think I will. I'll print it out on the laser printer, and then I'll foil it and put that on there, and then you could still put your sentiment. Now the other thing you could do is you could always stamp a sentiment in any one of these. Because these are so plain, I'm going to put the sentiment on top. But yeah, I think this one's going to get a foiled sentiment. This one's going to get something that's raised with maybe a little bit of greenery popping out from around it. And this one, I don't know yet what I'm going to do with this one. Maybe something similar. I do think this is like a nice get well card maybe. The yellow cheers people up, I think. So I'm going to continue finishing these, and I'll put the picture at the end of the completed video. And as always, I will link the file for you in Cricut Design Space on my Facebook page if you're interested. And I'll leave all 4 of them out there, but I will tell you that this one where I used the solid back and the scoring is my favorite. And maybe I'll just put in text underneath it, my favorite, so that that'll be easy to identify. And the first one I didn't even cut out because it would have been like this one where I was trying to figure out where everything went. So again, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Whatever works best for you is, you know, what you need to do. So I decided to go ahead and do a little bit of foiling. I don't do it nearly often enough because I do love the look of it. I have a Mink machine, but there are a number of different companies to make them. You can even buy a laminator, a cheap one from Amazon, and mostly get the same effects unless you're super picky. I'm going to recommend a channel if you're interested in foiling, and that is Foiling Snobs Club. They're not snobs, they're picky about their foil. But anyway, they've got a lot of great videos, tutorials, and that's where I learned pretty much everything about foiling except for the Cricut foiling. So anyway, I chose this. These are rolls I bought when I was still making tumblers, and I got them from H&H Supply, Sign Supply. So, I mean, there's a lot on this roll. I don't know if you can see that, but that is all foil. So, they are a great source. There are others. This is Deco Foil that I've had for years. I got this from, I'm willing to bet it was Joann's, but I think all of the other craft stores carry it or did at one time. You can also always order things online. So anyway, I just chose a couple colors. I had chose the gold, but I didn't use it. Then there's this rainbow. I thought that'd be really cool on one of them, and then the green. So I've gone ahead and run them through the foiler, and I thought we'd just sit here and rip a few off. So this is the first one we did, or I did. Got a little wrinkle in it, a little bubble, but it's purple, holographic, thinking of you, and it's obviously going to go on this card, or one of the others will. So here's another one, a couple more I did that are purple. Get well soon, and another get well soon. I actually like that one too. And the last purple one is another thinking of you. So I'm going to save all of these little scraps. The other thing I want to do is, I've got a few more here that need to be revealed. Just kind of got a mess on my desk here. So I did some black. You can't go wrong with black. It goes with everything. And look at that. How beautiful is that? So striking. And I did that. So what I did was I cut out 12 of these, the print and cut, and this was a mandala, went into the center, but I just put a white circle over it, centered it up, and then added the text, which is from Design Space, but you can always make your own and then import it. That's easy to do. So we got, I mean, look how gorgeous these are. I forget how much I love foiling until I do it again. So pretty. Another get well soon. So these are the two. I'm going to use these two. I'm going to use the green and I'm going to use the rainbow. So the green is going to go on probably the green card, unless I decide to use black, which I may, because it's really not the right shade of green. And the rainbow one, ooh, look at that. The rainbow one can go on the yellow, or I can put even the green on the yellow. Put the rainbow one over here. So I've got lots of options. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. This one's a mess up. I don't know about you guys, but I forget to flatten stuff. And then I get where it's trying to cut out these little bitty holes. So that one was a bust. But that's okay. I still got 11 of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish these 3 cards. Again, I'm going to pop these up. I'm going to cut out some foam or use some pop-up stuff or tape behind these, pop them up a little bit, and maybe stick some, you know, some nice greenery or something out from the back. But aren't these fabulous? Look at this. It does need popped up. I should have made a bigger one because it's a little too small for the card, but I think by the time I add some greenery, it'll be fine. I don't know, maybe I should put that on the yellow one. Well, let's look, see what the green looks like on there. Well, it doesn't look bad. It actually looks better than that one, I think. So we're going to leave the green one on here, and I think we'll either do this or a black one on here. I think we're going to go black. And which one do I want? Let's do Thinking of You. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I might even do my greenery out of vellum. Oh, yeah, okay. So that's as far as I'm going to go with the video. I will take a snapshot and put it at the end. But the one thing I did want to tell you guys, after I get this done, you know, the rainbow might be pretty on the purple too. Oh, it is. Okay, so I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 black ones and 4 purple ones with the different sentiments on it. So that's a total of 8. So I'm going to do a giveaway with these 8. And what's today? Oh, my phone's dead. Let's see. I think today's the 6th. The 6th, yes, it is. So let me look at a calendar. And let's go to, well, let's do this on April 30th. So on April 30th, we'll draw for these 8. They'll go to all the same person. And well, all you got to do is comment. Thumbs up would be great too, but definitely comment, and I will count those up. 1 entry per person, obviously. You do need to be in the U.S. because, you know, the world's a messy place right now, and I don't know if they'd get to you otherwise. But, I mean, we could try it, I guess, but there's no guarantee you'd get it. Now, or stick with the U.S. So, if you're in the U.S., comment, like the video, and on April 30th, we'll have a drawing for these 8 card front sentiments, foiled card front sentiments. All right, how does that sound, guys? So let me know what you think. This isn't my favorite project, I can say that, but it's not. I mean, I should have made these bigger, but when I looked, I thought, oh, I don't know, they look too big. So anyway, I'll finish them up. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio. Don't forget to comment to enter the freebie if you want some foiled Get Well Soon and Thinking of You sentiments. And until next time, guys, happy crafting.